You're watching ZIPS Nation Insider, exclusively on 330 To Go. ZIPS Nation Insider is powered by Fear the Rue Collective and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Our guest today is brought to you by Tire Source, the official sponsor of the Turnover Tire. And now your host, Chad Welker.
Thanks, Jacob. Here with second-year head coach of the women's basketball program, Coach Ryan Gensler. And Coach, thanks for joining ZIPS Nation Insider. We're here in the beautiful Wentz Financial Group Player Development Center. First of all, before we get to all my questions that I've got here, just talk about how you have enjoyed being able to practice here within this practice center.
Yeah, this facility is awesome. It's state of the art. The newness, it like radiates every single day that we're in here. Our players love getting in. You know, we've got the NOAA systems in here, doing shot tracking now. The players find this as a second home for them to be able to come in and get shots whenever they want. It's functional for our athletic trainer before practice. We're able to exercise all the basketball goals in here to get, extra shots and shooting drills that we want to, that become a little bit challenging during the year in the jar when it's set up for games all the time. So, Bud Wentz and the wonderful donors that contributed to this, we're so appreciative to that our players love coming in here on a daily basis and know that this is their home away from home.
Well, being able to go from home away from home to right now, let's rewind a little bit and let's have our viewers and our listeners get to kind of know you a little bit better. You got a pretty good coaching resume for as young as you are. I found out how old you were just a couple, I think, months ago, and yeah. I think I got like a decade on you, which is shocking. So, but just kind of tell us about your coaching journey, and maybe not just the coaching journey, but you're also a very tall guy.
Yep.
So your basketball journey, maybe from the start of when you started playing to finding your love and passion for the game.
Yeah, I mean, the love and passion of the game has always been there. I was fortunate to have some great role models and some cousins that played at a good level, and won state early. And, when you're 12 years old and you watch your cousin win a state championship, you think that happens every year. But it definitely gets the juices flowing. You play basketball in your basement, on the Fisher-Price hoop, and, parents always had March Madness on. You grow up in Syracuse, New York, where, basketball is king there with Coach Boeheim, and, you live and breathe, Big East basketball. It was awesome, to be able to grow up and go to the games at the Dome. So many fond memories. One that sticks out in particular is my mom took me to see Syracuse play UConn when they were probably number one in the country. Khaled El-Amin, Jake Voskuhl years. Syracuse had a great young crew, and I had a final exam the next day, or a midterm at my school. I was in 8th grade, and she took me. I failed the exam, and but I can remember how the popcorn tastes and smells, and everything about that game. And I can't even tell you what math it was or what it is, but I can assure you that I graduated and did quite well thereafter.
That's important, and obviously we can get into the school side of academics and being a coach in the college realm as well. But you've had success at your previous stops with the likes of Illinois and heading to the NCAA tournament, a couple A-10 championships with Dayton. What lessons and experiences have you taken from those previous spots that you're now trying to kind of create here at Akron for yourself and your program?
I've had wonderful mentors. That dates back to my high school coach, Buddy Wiklinski, and Ed Leone at CBA, and having some championship expectations there. Going to St. Joseph's for Cindy Griffin, who will be in the Hall of Fame there, and is their all-time winningest women's coach. Going Phil Seymour and Jim Crowley. I was spoiled as an assistant coach. My very first year as an assistant, we go to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament at St. Bonaventure, a school that's quite small, never won a layup line to save their lives. You never look down or were intimidated by them, but, they taught the art of playing together and what that can lift a group, no matter what the skill set is, and can overcome athleticism, true skill when five are acting as one, was incredible. So, and then, getting to University of Florida, where I took a step back off the court, but helped in a support staff role. We go to the NCAA tournament there, and it starts becoming ingrained of what the process is like to go and play in March Madness, and go to Dayton, where the standard is not just going to the NCAA tournament, but walking into a place that they had been to an Elite Eight and what that process looks like to advance in the tournament. So, Shauna Green, a great mentor and friend of mine, brought that championship level of expectation on a daily basis from literally everything that we did, from our recruiting meetings to how we did our development of skill work in the off season, to how we were in practice. Everything was so intentional and so, championship caliber. And she would always adapt to make sure that we were pushing our players and giving them something just a wee bit more to push to get the most out of them. So, that carried over into the Illinois experience, where you take over a program for year one and have to ingrain that right away. And we were so fortunate to have some good continuity of a couple players come with us from Dayton, but a staff that was very familiar with each other. And she was always, her top-down leadership was very collaborative, but she also set an expectation for how your staff was, and true collaboration and true selflessness. And, very fortunate to have worked with so many great people that didn't care about who got the credit, as long as, there was a W. And that's the type of environment that we're trying to curate here. And very fortunate to have retained my entire staff into a year two. And they work tirelessly and for our players and don't care who gets the credit of, a great scout or, a great development piece. They all work together exceptionally well and are a fine example for our players of what success can look like when no one cares about who gets the credit.
Now, of course, we do have to talk a little bit about that year one and keeping that same coaching staff, but what did you take from year one? Record-wise might not have been where you wanted it to be, but take us through year one and get us into kind of what you took from that year and brought it into year two, and maybe even give us some insight of the new pieces that you added to this year.
I think year one, you're just so anxious. You've lived your entire life to become a head coach, and you're so anxious to implement everything that you want to implement. And you realize, there's only so much time to implement, and you've got to be very specific and careful of what you emphasize. And you kind of almost have to be simpler than you even imagine. And I think, last year, we adapted to the personnel that we had and really tried to get the most out of that. And what it, taught me is exactly of how we want to play and the types of players and the versatility that we want to bring into the program. And I thought, as the season went on and we could identify what we wanted to bring in by way of profile, I thought, after, the transfer portal hit and the dust settled and we were able to, attack and bring in the players that we wanted to, we did that with length and versatility in our guards, of being able to not only, shoot the ball from the perimeter, high IQ, good ability to get to the paint and pass or get to the paint and finish, were things that we wanted. We want to be able to play with four, guards, and that fourth guard being a strong player that could guard a post if you needed to. And then, a five player, a Naira Clark that we bring in from Toledo Rogers that has that, burst of athleticism, is developing her perimeter skills, has some framework there, can defend multiple positions, and is still your traditional scoring around the basket. So, I thought, we brought in really good players in the portal, a Caroline Lyles and an Ella Weigel that folks haven't been able to see quite yet because they've been out with injury. But, two guards that shoot it exceptionally well. Caroline's kind of that perfect four, where she's got that toughness to her on the inside, but shoots it great from the perimeter, really high IQ kids. You bring in a Maddie Visicki that we've seen, to date, can shoot the ball really well from the perimeter. Needed some confidence, needed to, get back to Ohio in her roots a little bit to see her, confidence, develop. And then, a Shelby Brown that we were able to bring in from Memphis as a grad transfer, maybe 6 foot, but, screams athleticism and versatility in what she's able to do, like kind of the perfect 4 or 5 man for us, depending on the matchup. But has an incredible motor, an elite rebounder, and does a really good job and is a really, really good teammate. Cam Rhodes at the point, is the consummate point guard. The ability to play out of the ball screen. When push comes to shove, your point guard's got to be able to make a play. And 9 out of 10 times she's doing that really well. You saw in that Georgia State game in the second half, her ability to play in that middle ball screen and make the right decisions coming out of that, and that's, a credit to her and a credit to, I've known her since her sophomore year of high school. Sure. So all the kids that we've been able to bring in, I've known since their high school days. So trying to be a relationship-based coach now, you can call upon their best moments over their career. Even if their college career didn't start off that way, you can still call upon those moments, and that's been really exciting for me.
And not only on the court, but then you also get to talk about the life outside of the court with these young ladies. And one of the things that's coming up this weekend, and we can dive into a little bit, is you take on Michigan at Friday at noon. I'm here with Ryan Gensler, the women's basketball coach at the University of Akron. That game's at noon, but it's Nurses Appreciation Day, and you have two nurses, nursing majors on your team. The challenges that they face as athletes, being able to practice with their clinicals and their projects, and trying to fulfill what they want to do when their playing careers are over.
It is, and it's a credit to Steve Birch, who does the scheduling of the gym. It's a credit to John Gross, who's been able to work hand in hand and helped me get some gym time, and we've worked together on that on those days that our players have clinicals. And when they have clinicals, it's 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so sometimes we're practicing at 6 and they're practicing for 45 minutes, showering quick, and then hitting Akron Children's Hospital or wherever their venue is. But it's been unbelievable, the relationship that we've developed with the School of Nursing here. That's unique. Not every school has a nursing program, and for our players, that they chose that. I will never tell a player, you can't be that person, or you can't be that, job that you want to be someday because of a practice time. So I always tell them, we'll figure out the practice end of things. We're going to need a little bit of extra effort to make sure that we're taking care of what we need to take care of. But, Dr. Tim Myers has been an unbelievable, help and support in the nursing school. He's someone that when we have a recruit that's a nursing interest, he goes out of his way. He'll come in on a Sunday night. He'll come in, and show them around. And there's so much there that they do that's unique, that's different than other nursing programs, to a very relationship-based way or an experiential way, that these, young women are gaining valuable experience. I joke all the time, like, they're going to be taking care of us someday. And so we got to make sure that they're doing everything that they can to make sure that sounds good and acts well. So we're excited to celebrate our nursing relationship. We mentioned the two on our team, Lene Riley and Zakia Rashid. Monique Mitchell, who's coming in from South Bend, Washington next year, is going to be a nursing major, and she was a major component on the visit of a meeting with Dr. Tim Myers, as well as other recruits that we've been able to bring. So we want to thank them and recognize them through this moment, and they've been a lot of fun to work with, and should be a fun day on Friday.
I think I've seen a couple things on social media where you have your nursing students ask members of your team and ask coaches what some of the terminology is in the medical field. How's that going for you and for the rest of the team? Are they learning with them?
They're learning with them. We're learning where some of these things are on our body and why they ache in pain as they do. But Kelly Simmons, our graduate assistant, she's so funny. She asked me she said, does anyone have the Operation, board game? And I said, I got the Grinch edition for Christmas. And so, you're bringing that in. And so she's got a couple things up her sleeve. Dr. Tim Myers is doing some other fun social media things for us even today as we film this, to help promote the game and promote their program. So I think anytime you got that kind of collaboration across campus, it just makes the community and feel here that much more homely.
Absolutely, and it's also Youth Day. I believe they're going to have some schools come in and check out the women's basketball program, and it is going up against a Michigan team. But now let's kind of dive into the personal life. There's some things that some maybe our fans and listeners don't know, but when we hired you, your wife was in the process of having baby number 2.
Yep.
But can you just kind of dive inside the family life and how coaching and having the family and that dynamic is going for you in year 2?
Yeah, I'm really blessed to have a wonderful wife that supports. She still works, but supports as much as she can. With our program, and 2 wonderful boys. Yeah, Nolan was born about 4 days into getting the job, or as that transpired, and Lisa Tappinen, who's on our team now, was on her official visit when he was being born. So I wasn't even there for that. So credit to the staff of getting that one done. But I will always know how old he is, because I know it's 20 months to the day of when I was hired. But he's thriving. We love the community here. We're up in the Peninsula Hudson area. Just wonderful folks, great neighborhood. Our kids are able to grow up around some tremendous role models of our team. Them being able to be around at practices, after games. Our players have done a great job of incorporating them and making them feel like they're a part of this greater Akron family, and so appreciative to them, and so appreciative to my family to allow the craziness of this job, to intertwine, because I don't think you can do it any other way.
Sure. Now, other than being a dad, what are some of the things that you like to do outside of basketball coaching, out of being dad? What about like things you enjoy doing,
well,
Coach?
Chad, and I'm very fortunate that you're here because you and I share the same affinity for good slices of pizza. Chad and I we should start our own pizza review because we've gone to a couple here locally when we do have some downtime. So we love to eat. We're a good eating family. My wife's Italian, loves good Italian food. So we've perused some of the great spots in and around Akron, which has very much surprised me of how many great spots there are to eat. I love to golf. Don't get a ton of time to do that, although I'm trying to get my son Jackson, who's going to be 6 in the spring, to get out on the golf course with me to get some good time out there. So. And then we'll travel to see some family, every now and again in the summertime, in the off season. So love a good movie, love a good TV show. So those are kind of my guilty pleasures when I need some background when I'm watching film during the season. But we love to eat, we love to travel, and I love to play golf. So
All right. Well, we have a couple more personal kind of questions here coming up, but we do have to talk about how this season's going real quick. Currently 5-5. You're going up against Michigan on Friday, but tell us why fans should get excited about this Zips team, especially when Friday and the holidays kind of pass and we move into MAC play in the new year.
It's a really balanced team, and I think that makes it a lot of fun because any one of our kids could go off for a double-digit game, and I think when we have all the kids that play could start, and that's a really empowering feeling for me as a head coach. And so the togetherness feeling that you should get when you watch our team play is something that it can be teachable. In this day and age and society where everything is me-centric and this person-centric, and I want to be as traditional of the fact that you need 5 guarding the ball defensively, 5 sharing the ball offensively. We are undefeated when we have 13 or more assists. And, that's something that our players are learning, as you do have, a group that you bring in, 8 or 9 new kids to a team are developing. So over the course of these 10 games so far, we're starting to let that be our identity of how we share the ball, how we create for one another, and certainly how we defend together. And that's been really exciting to see that develop. So I think it's a wonderful example of 5 can do more than 1, and 5 act as 1, what that unity can do and propel a team to do.
All right, so now we're back to those personal questions. We got to know about pregame superstitions.
Oh, man.
Do you have any, and what are they?
My pregame superstitions, pretty basic. I always get to the locker room and head to the hallway before our team. I'm usually not dressed in my game attire then. I'm still in my kind of casualness. Road games, I get off the bus first, no matter rain, snow, sleet, rain, and dap up our players as they leave. Something that I want them to, as they get off the bus, to know that they're empowered to go, be themselves. And then I always make my play cards the same way at the same time. Helps sort of kind of rechannel, my eyes, my ears, and my brain for what the game is going to call for. And then, I like to filibuster and talk to my staff. I think they get sick of me. If it's not the staff, it's Amanda. But they help calm me down.
Okay. All right. Those are good superstitions to have. Plenty of them. So, and then the last thing we kind of we have 2 more things left here in this Zips Nation Insider, and this is head coach Ryan Gensler of the women's basketball program. We talked about how you and I are kind of pizza connoisseurs, but let's take Northeast Ohio out of it for a moment, and let's go back to hometown pizza. Syracuse, New York.
Easy.
Where are we going?
It's easy. It's Mario and Salvo's or Pavone's. I mean, 2 just good local Italian joints that are true New York style. You got a good crisp, thin crust, good cheese, good sauce. I mean, it's all in the sauce and the cheese, and it's made fresh. We were fortunate to have a couple very close to where I live, so it was a big staple in my house. And the family, we went up to Syracuse this past summer, and we got a small sampling of that.
Okay. Yeah. And not to throw anybody in Northeast Ohio under the bus, but you got to up your game a little bit maybe. But who's the Northeast Ohio go-to pizza right now?
It's been Luca's. I'm still working on an NIL deal with Luca's for myself,
Okay.
but we love Luca's. We dabbled in Athena Pizza out in Stowe by us. When we invite the neighbors over, they've got some specialty pizza that the neighbors' kids like, and I've been drawn to that lately. But Luca's is unbelievable next day, and that's a good sign when you got good crust and cheese and all that. It's good sign.
That's a good tip for our pizza podcast that might come out eventually, maybe this summer, who knows. And then the last thing we have is Rapid Fire, where it's powered by 330 To Go, Northeast Ohio's hottest and fastest growing news network. This is going to come out later this week. So when I ask these questions, we're going to do a Christmas edition of Rapid Fire. So eggnog, thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Awesome. I am too. So real tree or fake tree?
Fake tree.
Fake tree. All right. That's two here in the practice gym right now who have the fake tree. Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
Christmas Day, but as I got older and we would hit like midnight mass, we valued sleeping in, my sister and I. Like, we're talking like early 20s, in college. So Christmas Eve was cool because we're used to staying up. But now Christmas morning, nothing like it. Okay,
perfect. Yep. Favorite Christmas song?
Oh, that's a good one. I love Springsteen. Santa Claus is coming to town, but we went to Straight No Chaser down at the Akron Civic Theater last year, my wife and I, and their rendition of Oh Holy Night was magical.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So two good songs there. Favorite Christmas movie?
Loved Home Alone as a kid. I mean, my sister and I used to laugh. She got me a really cool Home Alone poster one year because she knew how much I liked it. I mean, it's just timeless. But like, I'm not a Love Actually guy. I love The Holiday. I absolutely love the great Hans Zimmerman score. It's a classic.
You said you were a movie buff, so now with Home Alone original or Home Alone Lost in New York?
They're both good.
They are, especially being from New York.
I know. It was a fun rewatch of like after we visited New York City. But I would say Home Alone 1. I mean, just there's nothing about that. Race to the airport that everyone's felt before, and the reunion, the John Candy cameo,
absolutely.
The Kenosha Kickers. I mean, it's so good.
And has Jackson watched?
He has not yet. Okay. I don't know if he's ready for that one. I don't need any of the pranks as I walk around the house and stepping on ornaments anytime soon.
Fair enough. And last one, kind of a different version of this question, but best gift you've given?
Oh man. That's a really tough one. But I will say something that popped up the other day. Leanna and I designed a very simple ornament when we first got together. You mentioned the first fake tree. We had gotten a fake tree together when we first started dating, and we put a special ornament dated 2014 on it. And I think that's probably the best gift that we've given each other because it's stayed as the focus of the Christmas season thereafter, and is a reminder that we got married in 2017, but that was something that first year was kind of cool for us.
Perfect. Well, Coach, appreciate the time you've given us today here on ZIPS Nation Podcast Insider. I'm Chad Welker. Jacob will be back with you next week. Again, Michigan against Akron, 12 p.m. noon Friday. It's Youth Day and Nursing Day at James A. Rose Arena, so we hope to see you there. Have a good rest of your holiday, and as always, go Zips.
Go Zips.